On Array KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The genuine, the original. Now the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Wants the drive, turns the corner, spins, gets out. Robbie, open look! Bang! Robbie Avila! 3 seconds. Got to get it in. The length of the floor. Stolen away by Avila. The Billikens win. The Billikens win. Oh, it's Robbie's night at Chaffetz Arena.
Thames on the move. Thames to Robbie for 3.
Geez, calm down, guys. Both of you. What happened last night?
Oh my God!
Last-second game winner or something?
What an unbelievable night. Bob Ramsey with the call there and some knucklehead after that.
That was you, dingus.
Yeah, that was a heck of a night, man. Robbie Avila, he is a special talent, no doubt about it. And Troy Robertson and I said it on the telecast, and I know Rammer and Earl were on it too. You just felt in the second half, Robbie's going to have to win this game for St. Louis University. This was one of those games where somebody's going to have to do something special because the teams are evenly matched. George Washington's really good. Atlantic 10's got some teams, including SLU and George Washington and George Mason, and the team you'll see on Friday, Dayton, VCU. I mean, there are some teams that can flat out play this game, and George Washington, you knew from the beginning this is going to be a problem. And SLU was down 15 in the first half, came back and won the game. That was fun, and Robbie really took it over. I mean, he hit some big shots. He had a couple of threes. He had an and one. He had a three that gave them the lead, and then George Washington ties the game, and then they set up that play. Kellen Thames drives, can't get any room. The play was set up. If Kellen can't get a bucket underneath, he's going to kick it back out. Avila was open, and the three goes down, and the rest is history. And he got the steal at the end to win the game for SLU over GW. That was great.
And George Washington's not a slouch, right?
No,
I mean,
no.
that's a decent team there they beat. And you're going to have those games sometimes. If you're a team where everything runs through one player or your night is completely dependent upon whether or not that player has a good night, that's not be because it's not sustainable. And if you're constantly having to come from behind or overcome lousy efforts or poor starts or whatever it is, again, not sustainable. But every now and then, you're going to have one of those games. Every now and then. And that's what that was last night. It was just one of those games. You had trouble with free throws early. You come back. You end up winning. It takes a last-second shot to do it. That's fine. You're going to have games like that. This Billikens team is just really, really good. It is flat-out good. They're a 20-win team already, and we're not even at the end of January yet.
Yeah, they're 20-1. It's the best start in their school's history. They showed me something last night because a lot of teams would fold down 15, and especially in the second half down 13. And Schertz said it after the game to our guys, Rammer and Earl, that a lot of nights teams would say, just not our night. They've got us tonight. Not our night. But he said, we tasted our own blood for the first time. That was the first time they had been down double digits the whole season, which is actually an amazing stat. And they showed me something last night. They came roaring back. They fought. They played great defense, and they turned the game around and won a basketball game that they otherwise didn't play like they deserved, but then they turned it on and did deserve to win the game the way that they finished it. And it was really a special thing to see. It's like in baseball, a pitcher that doesn't have his stuff. Adam
Finds
Wainwright,
a way to get through 5 or 6.
Wainwright was really good at this.
Yeah.
Get through the game. And the Cardinals used to do this all the time. When they weren't at their best, they would fight their way through it and win the game. Billikens did that last night. That was great. The Blues used to do it when they were at their championship level. And I think this SLU team is, when they're playing at their best, they are almost unstoppable. The way that their team can go downhill, and then if you try to collapse and stop that last play is a perfect example of it. You try to stop them from driving, they'll hit the three on you. They'll play great defense. When they're at their best, they're very tough to beat. But when they are not at their best, they showed me the heart of a champion last night, the way that they won the basketball game. And I think they are, sky's the limit for them. And you're right. In 21 games now, it's impossible to have a perfect game out of everybody. You're going to have players that aren't going to give you everything. They had 2 players that were in foul trouble. McCautry fouled out. Deion Brown had 4 fouls. They were blowing whistles. Officiating wasn't great either in their favor. And they just find a way. Brady Dunlap was out. He was injured. They didn't disclose that injury. He was questionable to start the game, didn't play. He's a big part of their team. That's a really good basketball team you got there. And on Friday night, look out. I mean, tickets are hot. You can't get in the
I think
building.
they're sold out already.
They're not only are they sold out, but if you go on the secondary market, the get-in price is high.
Yeah,
for SLU and Dayton on Friday night.
Yeah, and they've won, Tom, going back to just to those 20 wins this year. They've done it every way possible. They've had good, solid, normal wins. They've had wins like last night where they just get by, have to play great down the stretch, make some great plays at big time moments, and they've had blowouts, winning by 30. Right? They've done it every possible way this year, and that's what's really exciting about them is that good teams do that. Good teams end up winning games they probably have no business winning. They also blow teams out when they have the opportunity, and they've done that a couple of times this year already. They've had multiple, 20, 30-point win games, and they have the one against Principia, which, what, they win by 70? So that's not one that I think I'm not really counting that one so much, but the rest of them, you have a lot of big-time double-digit wins this year, and you have those where everything needs to go right for you, and you make the right plays down the stretch in order to do it. It's such a fun team to watch, and them being where they are right now, I know they're getting the recognition. They're in the top 25, and that was before last night's game, so they're 21st. You win that game on Friday now, I think you're easily in the top 20, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But the point is, people around the country are paying attention to them, and as long as they keep this going, and I don't necessarily mean they have to win out or anything before the conference tournament, but if they keep playing like this, it would be really difficult to ignore them regardless of what their non-conference strength of schedule is. And we're talking about, tournament at large bid. Really going to be tough to ignore them if they keep playing this way.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep on winning. Cole Bassett's left foot says, can the Billikens reach 30 wins? They'd have to run the table before the tournament, and they would have 30 wins. But that's a tall task. Dayton coming up on Friday is the next step. I'm looking at this Dayton game on SeatGeek right now, and the second to last row of the upper deck, 188 on SeatGeek, just to get in.
Really?
Second to last row of the upper deck. And,
wow.
And that's regarded as a good deal. So it's a minimum of probably $200 just to get in the building at this point, and that's way in the upper reaches of the upper deck on the end. I mean,
the Dayton game's always fun too. I mean, we got a lot of St. Louis Dayton people. We were just talking about that during Chris and Amy's show. You've got a lot of Chaminade grads who went there, some of the Catholic schools, some of the other Catholic schools in the area, Vianney. You have kids filtered to Dayton, so there's automatic interest in that matchup anyway. But now you put into it that both programs are really good, and the Billikens are playing the way they're playing right now. Friday is going to be, it's going to be lit. It's going to be fire.
It is going to be fire, as the kids say.
Right. I don't know if they say it anymore, but
they don't say fire anymore.
I don't know.
Fire is like, if that, like those peanut butter pretzels over there are fire, man.
Oh, they're fire.
Yeah,
that's right.
I like
that. That was lit.
Just exactly right.
Lit is very old. Flying to Denver to go skiing.
JK was saying it, yes.
Flying to Denver to go skiing at Beaver Creek right now, says Eric Edgar. Oh, look at you, listening to the Gashouse Gang on the plane.
Let's go.
That's great. You should meet up with Cole Bassett's left foot. I think he's based in Colorado. Will we see the Billikens receive a spot to play in St. Louis for the big dance? Now, that would be pretty cool. Ask Cole Bassett's left foot. It would be awesome. It would be awesome. I don't know if they'd reward them or not, but the first and second round will be played at Enterprise Center, and that would be fun, especially if they got in there. The last projection that we saw from Joe Lenardi was as an 8 seed, which is a nice tip of the cap. It would mean you would have to face a 1 seed in the second round, which is a tough task if you get by the 9. But, man, I'd hate to be that 1 seed. I wouldn't want to see SLU playing at their best against my team, even if I'm a 1. I mean, that is a tough tournament team to have to prepare for.
I think Lenardi has them at this point. That was before last night. He's got them at an 80% chance of making the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Cole Bassett
80 plus,
says
like that.
they're listening in Denver. See, we're popular in Colorado. We're huge in Colorado.
Yeah, I love it.
That's really good. What a fun night. Really fun night. Mizzou got absolutely blown out by Alabama. Not pretty for them. So, again, my rankings of the local teams, Illinois 1, SLU 2, Mizzou 3. I've said that over and over. I think that SLU is a lot better than Missouri is, and we'll see if that's proven correct by the end of the deal. We will take a break. Not a lot of things shock me in sports anymore, but something that happened yesterday absolutely stunned me. Actually,
unbelievable.
Left me in my tracks.
And you know what? I know what it is before you even told me.
We'll tell you what it is coming back after the break here on KMOX. But first, let me tell you about the great way to go buy a car. It's sunny and 32 today. Let's go buy a car. Genesis of St. Charles. On Veterans Memorial Parkway off I-70 and Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. But really, all you have to do is go inside the beautiful dealership, Genesis of St. Charles. Grab yourself a nice coffee, or maybe you'll choose another drink out of their awesome machine there. And then take a little look around, take a little stroll around Genesis of St. Charles. See the vehicle, see the people, see my friend Shay, the general manager. Tell him that I sent you in, and he will love to talk to you about all of the options that you have at Genesis of St. Charles. In fact, you can go ahead of time to genesisofstcharles.com if you want to lock in an e-price. Their e-price on there, that way you know that you have the price. So, no games and gimmicks at Genesis of St. Charles. You find the price, you find the car you want, you go in there, tell Shay you want to test drive a Genesis, and he'll take great care of you, set you up with someone over there. genesisofstcharles.com.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history. From moment to memory.
Presenting the Barnyard Follies.
Among those voices, Bill Wilkerson.
He fakes drop sets, looking, going upfield, it is.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place
Guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
Hey, welcome back to the Gashouse Gang with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Our producers are Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd. It's always great to have everybody along. We had a good week, a great show on Monday. Bernie yesterday was on fire. We actually talked about the Patriots and Bill Belichick yesterday. I thought about this when this news came out. We talked to Bernie about Mike Vrabel, and, remember I made the comment about spying on the Rams walkthrough, and he's like, that's not the reason they lost the Super Bowl. I'm like, I know. We always kind of joke and have fun with that. Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time in any sport, really, and you could make the case that he's the greatest coach in NFL history.
Sure.
And yesterday when the news came out, I kind of glanced at I think it was in the form of a tweet. Usually that's how I get real-time news, is I look down at the phone and I saw the alert and I thought, oh, okay, so Belichick's not a unanimous pick for the Hall of Fame. And I looked at it a little closer. I'm like, wait a minute. Is this real?
He didn't get in at all?
He didn't get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year? What is going on? Like, is there something that I don't know? And I looked at it further and I'm like, you talk about a system being broken. What in the heck are you guys doing? I mean, that must be some overcorrection of some sort. I mean, I understand that you've let a lot of people in, still haven't let Torrey Holt in, which is an absolute travesty.
Yeah.
But
we were talking about that earlier, how they made Isaac wait like 11 years before he got in.
Like, what are you guys
That's
doing?
crazy.
How does Bill Belichick, something is completely broken if Bill Belichick's not in the Hall of Fame. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
So the rumor out there has been that Bill Polian, longtime general manager of multiple different teams, the Colts, you might know him most famously from, that he has been behind the scenes sort of lobbying that that Belichick should not get in. He should have to wait a year because of that Spygate, because of Deflategate, which is, if that's true, that's ridiculous, man. It's just what kind of punishment is that? All it does is make you look stupid. It makes the Hall of Fame look less important. It puts it on them. It doesn't put it on Belichick. It's not a punishment to him, though it is. It's still, nobody's going to side with the Pro Football Hall of Fame or the voters in this case, and nobody is. It's crazy to me, and I don't like Bill Belichick as a person. I think he's a weirdo. I think he's unnecessarily unfriendly. He doesn't have to be the way he is, but the guy absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame, and if there's ever been a case for somebody to get in immediately, I mean, it's Tom Brady, his quarterback, and him. It's not even a question.
I mean, being a voter of anything is an honor, whether it's your local Hall of Fame, your favorite team's Hall of Fame, whatever sports Hall of Fame, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I mean, these are the guys who cover the teams day in, day out. Like, they are the ones who carry on this game. Like we like to say, the stewards of the game. They carry it on for future generations to explain the sport to the previous generation as to what happened while you were covering it. You have to think before you do anything like that. When you vote, you have to think that way, and it's embarrassing. So it's embarrassing because what you did was I'm just assuming, let's say a guy like, I'm going to not vote for Belichick because he'll get in anyway. So I'm going to vote for this guy to make sure that he stays on the ballot for next year. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Without thinking like maybe if we screw this up and Belichick doesn't get in, it ruins the whole thing. I mean, how can you have a weekend with the Hall of Fame game and all the people in town with their jackets and all these dignitaries and the whole deal, and Belichick doesn't get in? It's such a stain.
It's somehow stupider than, was it Griffey? I think it was Griffey who didn't get a vote on his first time, and there was if I got the player wrong, let me know. But there was a player who did not get that first. It wasn't unanimous for him, and the argument by the person who voted against him was, I don't think anybody should be unanimous.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Or it might have been Jeter. Or I don't know who
it's escaping me which player it was. No, it wasn't Jeter. But anyway, But yes, I know that has happened actually a few times.
It's stupid.
Where a player did not get 100% because, well, no one should.
Come on.
Like, what are you crazy?
Yeah, come on.
I mean, and we complained about that. I mean, as Ken points out, we thought the Baseball Hall of Fame was a mess. We're complaining about guys that already got in.
Yeah.
But like, they didn't get 100% of the vote. This is absolutely the worst thing I've ever seen. Well, at least they got in at 92% or whatever. He's not even Bill Belichick's going to watch the Hall of Fame enshrinement and not be in is so bizarre. It's just get it together.
There are 50 voters. 40 of them have to vote in favor. There's an 80% threshold to get in, which means that at least 10 people did not vote for him.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So you've got a media member in each market. There are 2 media members in New York and LA each. So 4 total there. And then you've got the other 30 teams that each have 1. And then the rest of them are made up by lifers, football lifers. I think Tony Dungy's on the list, guys like that. So you're telling me that at least 10 people did not vote for him?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
What are we talking about here?
I couldn't believe it. We're going to talk to Ed Smith, who is a terrific football analyst down in Arizona here in just a bit about football. But one more thing, speaking of Arizona and Hall of Famers for that matter, that's my attempt at a segue, but this guy is going to be in Cooperstown. I sure hope he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't see any other way around it, although, you just never know with voters, I guess. But Nolan Arenado hasn't said a lot here. We haven't heard a lot from him about not only the move to the Diamondbacks, we heard him in the Zoom, but opening up a little bit more about the trade to the Astros. Now, I had John Mozeliak on, as you know, a lot. I mean, we talk to him every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I got to know Mo pretty well and understood the good days and the bad days just by the tone of his voice. I've never heard him more frustrated in my career or his than when the Arenado trade didn't go through. I mean, you could just hear it in his voice that morning where he's like, frustrated, Tom. That's how I am today. You could just hear it. And here's Arenado talking about a lot of that, including the Houston Astros opportunity that he turned down going into the 2025 season.
And this is him on the Foul Territory podcast with AJ Przinsky.
Yes.
I mean, I know we're harping on this, but it's just such a unique situation. Last year, the rumors were you're going to Houston, and then you say no, and then everyone's like, this Nolan Arenado is a terrible human being because he doesn't want to go to Houston. He doesn't want to win, right? I've known you for a long time. I've known nothing about other than you want to win, and you're a great dude, and you want to compete, and you teach young guys, and you come to work every day. Do those feelings hurt you a little bit when you see that stuff? Because someone that knows you from the outside, I know that's not true. I know you want to win, and I know you want to be on a good team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think when trade stuff like this comes up and you have a full no trade, and you obviously wish it doesn't come to the public, but it's just going to because it's part of the business and it just things get shared. I have the utmost respect for Houston. I've said this so many times. They traded Kyle Tucker. Bregman wasn't going back. There was a lot of things that I was just a little hesitant at the time And I respect all those players that are there and that organization. They're great. But yeah, man, I mean, I didn't enjoy the things that people were saying about me, but you kind of just block it out. It's just one ear and out the other. I know who I am. You know me. I think my teammates know me. So, and people around the league know who I am. So, I try not to show nobody up or disrespect nobody, but it's my life and I have a family and I got to make the decisions for it. And it wasn't an easy one, but it was the one I went with.
Okay, I don't remember anybody trashing Arenado necessarily. I think it was unfortunate that it all happened that way.
It wasn't trashing. I think there were other people who were frustrated, fans were, that, thinking, hey, this is a better situation for you. Why would you not want to go there? That team is going to be more competitive. And they just did miss out on the playoffs. So why? I don't know. I don't think he got trashed. But there were people who, Cardinals fans wanted to move along because they wanted to get this process going too. They want to get this rebuild or build or whatever you want to call it. They want to get this thing steamrolling here so that we can get back to being a championship team.
Yes, that is the ultimate goal. At the same time, I hope he knows, and we know, that he was well respected here. This guy bled Cardinal red. He wanted to win in the worst way, and it really weighed on him. He wanted to win a championship here and could not come through. And that will be something he'll think about when he looks back at his career. I hope he goes on and wins it all. I really do. I just think the world of the guy. And at the same time, I'm glad the Cardinals are on the path that they are, finally, to get this thing moving. We'll take a break. When we come back, it is a discussion of football with Ed Smith. We've got Earl Austin Jr. on the docket today to talk about last night's amazing win for the Billikens at the last moment over GW. You're listening to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
A grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
29 degrees in St. Louis. It's cloudy out there right now. We're going to have a high of 32. Tonight, cold again, low of 8.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Born with Ben and Gentry for HeatUpSt.Louis.org.
We're the Golden Boys!
For the 26th Rise and Shine benefit.
It's Friday, February 13th.
Your lucky day to volunteer.
Or buy a sausage or egg biscuit for $1.
At participating area Hardee's.
It's HeatUpSt.Louis.org to also pre-order. That's HeatUp, STLOUIS.org.
Put the biscuits down, Ben.
Oy!
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead. On your terms, text RADIO to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Back on KMOX with Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. This is the Gashouse Gang. Our producers, Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd, and it is a treat to be joined by our next guest, Ed Smith, who is the host of the Easy Sports Talk Show in Phoenix, former tight end for a variety of NFL teams, and it is always fun to talk about pro football on the show. Ed joins us now. How are you, Ed? Does Ed hear us? Oh, we lost Ed. Oh,
just lost
strike
Ed.
one.
Yeah.
On the outside corner. Well, Ed, we'll get to you in just a moment.
I think it's probably incomplete pass.
Yeah, that is
right. So it's 2nd and 10 now.
Yeah, we're good. We got tons of time. We can absolutely get it done.
Well, we don't. We only have 26 minutes.
Oh, that's an eon. You know that.
Oh,
you know
that's
that.
true.
We can take great care of it. We have Ed back on the line. Ed, how are you? Things happen. Phones drop. It's all good.
I'm good, man. Appreciate you guys having me on today.
It's absolutely our pleasure. We were just talking about this last segment, so let me get your reaction. I said not a lot of things shock me anymore in sports, but Bill Belichick reportedly not being in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot certainly did that for me. How about for you?
Absolutely. And this is one of those situations where, I hate when, people try to get on the high horse and prove points and fight for causes that don't need to be fought for. Certain people, Bill Belichick, that's a no-brainer in my opinion as far as being one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the game. He might have ruffled some feathers along the way, wasn't always the nicest guy to the media, maybe got his hand caught in the cookie jar a time or two, but who hasn't out there? And, I just think it's a little petty, and the more I'm hearing about the story, it sounds like there are a couple of specific crusaders out there who are trying to prove a point. And in my opinion, it's silly. I think it's going to, I've heard how it's going to cause a log jam with some other coaches that should, be going in, but they'll be pushed back because Belichick's being pushed back a year or so. I think it's silly. I think they should have just put the man in, got it over with. And like I said, if you want to, preach, do that on Sundays,
Yeah, so, that was kind of my question here is, let's say you were trying to, give voters the benefit of the doubt. Can you make a good argument that he doesn't deserve to be in right now?
No, I can't. And one of the things that I found interesting, I've been, hitting the gym and listening to radio all morning and stuff like that. And, they talk about Spygate, how that was a big thing. And from what I understand, his record was actually better after Spygate than it was before. So his winning percentage. So, if you want to take that into account, what's that old saying everybody uses all the time? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I don't advocate cheating, but we all know everybody's going to try to push to the line as far as they can. Maybe Belichick and the Patriots every now and then cross the line a little bit. But in terms of as long as I was around professional sports, between baseball and football, I've seen a whole bunch of stuff. And, I can point back to steroids in the 90s with baseball and some of the other things I've seen. And as far as what Belichick was accused of and what they got caught, minor stuff in my opinion. I just think, like I said, it's one of those things where I don't see an argument for not putting the man in, on a first ballot.
This is former NFL tight end Ed Smith, who is talking football down in Arizona and has been, I think, an advocate for the game. Not only now, when your phone dropped, I said that's strike one on the outside corner, and we had, a little laugh about that. Obviously, being a former NFL player, but this guy was a baseball player. Ed Smith was actually drafted in the MLB draft in 1987 out of high school. You turned down a football opportunity at Penn State in Florida. Is that right? To start playing pro ball, played in the White Sox system for quite a while.
Yeah. I actually could have went anywhere in the country football-wise. Baseball was my first love. I ended up signing a full scholarship to North Carolina. I was going to play both. I was going to a full baseball scholarship, and I told them I'd play football on the side. And then I ended up getting drafted by the White Sox, haggled with them a little bit, and then went into the minor leagues and did that for 9 years before switching back to football. But I enjoyed every corner, every part of the journey, all the way through my football career. No regrets on the path that I took.
So the Super Bowl coming up here, we're a couple of weeks away, I guess about a week and a half away now from this one happening. The Seahawks are favored against Bill Belichick's old team in New England, who finds themselves right back in the Super Bowl. The Seahawks are favored. So how do you handicap this matchup?
The Super Bowl is a strange beast. The game you would imagine, obviously, the Patriots offense hasn't been clicking on all cylinders recently, but you look at the two defenses that they faced, and I say to myself, that might have something to do with it. So, everybody's giving Seattle the heads, because their offense has been doing their thing. Obviously, they got past what I thought would be their biggest test with the Rams. And, everybody's jumping on that wagon as far as, Seattle and the points. And I'm thinking, don't put it past those Patriots, especially with what they put together. It just seems like it's one of those special years. And Vrabel's, he's got those guys just playing, and not just playing for themselves, playing for each other. And that's an incredible thing. And I wouldn't put it past this game being a lot closer than what everybody thinks. It might end up being, and then the pace of this game, I'm going to be able to tell from the first quarter, because of all the interruptions with the long commercial breaks, the extended halftime. This game just can get out of disjointed, and it can go one way or the other. A team can fall behind, never find their way, or the team that everybody thinks is supposed to just run through this one, they never get their footing, and it turns into a great game. So I'm hoping it's with the second. I'm hoping it's a great game. Some points scored, some exciting plays. If I had to handicap it right now, I'm probably going to go with Seattle, but I wouldn't be surprised if New England covered.
How about Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the New England Patriots, after getting fired by the Titans? That is quite the coaching job, quite the coach, actually. He proved a lot of people wrong, didn't he?
You know what? Sometimes sometimes things are just a blessing. When Tennessee let him go, that was probably one of the stupidest moves. The dude even had Tennessee a number one seed a few years back. And, for whatever reason, they decided to go in a different direction. And you see, that he can coach. And I can tell you, he's one of those guys that and I've never met Mike Vrabel. I would have loved to play for someone like him. I played for some really great coaches, Dan Reeves, some others, but he looks like a guy that just rallies the troops. Everybody, at the end of the day, they know what their job is. They're not going to try to do too much. They want to make sure they are out there for each other, and that's what he preaches, and that's how they play. And I got to give a shout out too, man. I just mentioned how I'm a North Carolina man, still bleed blue because of my initial signing. And Drake May, man, golly, he's representing our Tar Heels like you can't imagine.
All right, now tell us about Mitch Trubisky. Actually, don't. I'm a Bears fan. It didn't work out great for us. Hey, Ed. So my friend here, Tom Ackerman, is going to be a Raiders fan because he's certain that Fernando Mendoza is going to end up there. Who's going to be their head coach?
Man, that's a good question. And, we're also going through right now, I think we've narrowed it down out here in Phoenix with they're getting close to, I think it was an OC from the Rams, maybe. They may be close to hiring him. I can't particularly remember his name right off the top of my head. But as far as the Raiders and even these Cardinals, you knew they were going to be last in line when Steelers, Ravens, and Bills flew open out of nowhere. So it's kind of like, I won't say we're getting the last of the last, but it's getting to be slim pickings, and you're starting to see a couple names, even like I think the OC from Baltimore just got hired in Cleveland. I'm like, wow, wasn't he there just a few years ago? So I'm not quite sure who's going to land with the Raiders, but I'd say they're, between getting your franchise quarterback, they've got a great tight end there, or a burgeoning eventually a great tight end. He's got a slow second season, but you got a decent running back. You just got to shore up offensive line. You got some issues probably defensively, but you're not going in where the cupboard is bare. So depending on when you get there to manage that situation, I think, it's looking up at least. The trajectory is looking like it'll be at least positive, just in a tough division with that AFC West.
Ed Smith has been with us on KMOX. Really a pleasure to talk to you. By the way, the St. Louis Rams were one of his stops along the way in the late 90s as he was breaking through in the NFL, and it's been a treat. I know your show has been going for a long time. How can people listen to you? I bet for a good NFL fix, they'd love to listen to you, Ed.
First off, always a pleasure, and you guys do such a great job. If anybody wants to follow me, it's at Ed Smith Speaks at the Twitter or whatever we're calling it these days, Instagram, and everything else. If you want to follow, so you can go to EasySportsTalkShow.com and or EdSmithSpeaks.com as well to follow all I do. And I appreciate you guys.
Outstanding. We appreciate you. Thanks for the time.
You got it.
The Gashouse Gang on KMOX continues with Earl Austin Jr. We talked some basketball with him.
What a win last night, Tom.
Next, incredible. And what a scene that's going to be on Friday. Oh, my goodness. Back after this on KMOX.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler for the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX, my official sportsbook as well. And this is it, guys. It's the last call out for football on FanDuel. Big game is coming up here, and there's one final Sunday, one last kickoff, and the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab on the year. And this is Super Bowl 60. FanDuel's making sure that you're in on it. If you're a customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, you can make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season's over and football is officially done. So it's your last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, band cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by RDJ and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
You know, this is one of those topics that no one really wants to think about, but if you're a parent, a homeowner, married, or helping take care of aging parents, it's something that honestly deserves a little attention. I'm talking about estate planning. And before you tune out thinking it's complicated or expensive, that's actually why I want to mention Trust and Will. Trust and Will makes estate planning feel way less intimidating than it sounds. They offer modern, attorney-designed wills and trusts that you can create online. And the process is surprisingly straightforward. In fact, you can create a will in as little as 30 minutes. That includes things like guardianship for your kids or pets, how your assets are distributed, and even healthcare directives. Don't wait until it's too late. Protect your loved ones with Trust and Will, the most trusted name in online estate planning. Go to trustandwill.com/plan to get 20% off. That's trustandwill.com/plan for 20% off. trustandwill.com/PLAN.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Back on the Gashouse Gang, final segment here before we send you to the DGS at 1 o'clock with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. You got Bernie back tomorrow, so I'll be curious Bernie's thoughts on
Bill. Belichick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
was interesting.
Yeah.
We'll
talk to him tomorrow about that.
We're going to reach out to Earl Austin Jr. here in just a moment and talk about the Billikens and their victory last night, 79-76 over GW. Missouri was beaten by Alabama on the road, and college basketball is starting to get really interesting now. You've got Illinois, the 9th-ranked team in the country, playing tomorrow against Washington at 8 o'clock. I'll be heading over to Carbondale after this and doing the Salukis game against Northern Iowa. Always curious who comes out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Arch Madness is the first weekend here in St. Louis.
Can't wait for that.
And then the first and second round of the tournament is going to be at Enterprise Center after that. I'm curious who will be in town then. I got a feeling it won't be Kentucky. Kentucky got blown out. I mean blown out by Vanderbilt yesterday. 80, let's see, what was the final of that? 80 to nothing. No,
Doesn't even matter.
They got
they did not score once.
Yeah. No, it was hold on, I'll get it here. 80 to 55. Kentucky gets beat by Vanderbilt. I mean, that is just unthinkable. I know that in college football we flipped and all these crazy things are happening. My team, Indiana, winning the title, but to see Kentucky get drilled by 25 points at Vanderbilt was not happening. I am a little concerned. I'm going to assume we weren't able to make contact with Earl, but I was going to ask him about this. I am a little concerned, and I guess it's a good problem to have, that teams are going to start coming after shirts. I mean, if he starts to have great success, you're going to start to get, I'm not saying Kentucky's going to, but you're going to start to get some pretty big names start to circle.
I'm surprised that hasn't. And maybe there was a let's wait and see period how things go at SLU, but after Indiana State, his name was already out there.
I think they wanted to wait and see what happened at SLU. I know his name popped up on a list for Indiana last year. It was kind of lower on the list, but people were speculating who might they go after.
If he goes to Indiana, I'm going to be so upset.
Well, that's not happening. They have Darren DeVries. It's all good. Indiana beat Purdue last night. They're fine.
I can't have you.
Don't worry about it. They're good.
By the way,
I'm saying I think Schertz is happy here. I think Schertz has a great basketball team here, and I think his team next year could be every bit as good. I mean, a lot of these guys will be back. They're going to retain. He's going to build himself a little power here. I kind of compare SLU's situation to, I know I brought up Gonzaga last year, but I kind of think the comp that you want to be is Xavier. Xavier was at their best. We're knocking on the door of the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four every single year. Coming out of the great city of Cincinnati, where they play good basketball. They compete with Cincinnati. They compete with other teams out there. SLU doesn't have that competition in the city. They've got the city to themselves. I mean, it's an awesome situation. SIUE, I should give them some credit. They are pretty much in it. We'll claim them. They're in the area for sure. They've got a nice D1 program going there, and I know Lindenwood does too out west. But SLU's got the city to themselves and a great opportunity to rise up and be a power. I really think so. So that would be if I was looking to the future as a SLU fan and thinking what I'm doing everything in my power to keep Josh Schertz and this program humming.
Yeah, it might be difficult. There was a report, and we saw it earlier today. We were talking about this. A guy named Rob Reinhardt who covers college basketball, and he says that SLU did approach the Big East about a proposal of joining that conference. And we talked about Eric Schmidt, Senator Schmidt, who says the Big East should allow SLU to join the conference. That was 2 weeks ago today, actually. And Reinhardt's report is that he was told members of the Big East leadership, along with consultants from the NCAA, told SLU they are, quote, not yet primed to compete at a high major level with excellent legacy programs like DePaul and Xavier. Now, I'll give them Xavier because there's some recent history of Xavier being good, but DePaul has stunk for a very long. It's not the 80s anymore.
I saw that too.
What are we talking about?
I almost spit my coffee out. DePaul?
Look, and to me, they're comparable universities, but SLU has had a better basketball program the last 20 years than DePaul has. It's not even close.
Yeah.
DePaul hasn't been any good since, what's his name? Is it McGuire? Is that his name? I can't remember.
No, that was Marquette. Ray Meyer.
Ray Meyer, that's what I'm thinking of.
Was it DePaul?
Yeah.
I mean, growing up,
it's
watching,
been a long time since then.
I know. Those who are around our age, I'm 50, growing up and watching the game of the week on CBS or whatever, and you'd see DePaul against, whoever. And, man, those were the days. Growing up and seeing those awesome games, those great programs going head-to-head. Big Mark says he loved the Spoon Hour era, having fun watching this SLU team. Totally different team. Spoon was defense first, a little slower of a pace. I know when he had some great players like Larry Hughes, they would turn it up a little bit more, but most of the time they were methodical in how they would beat you. The 93-94 team, the team that this SLU team just eclipsed for best start ever, they were high-paced. They had Scott Highmark, Erwin Claggett, H. Waldman. They could score in bunches, and they started 19-1. This team is 20-1.
Yeah.
And they'll beat you all kinds of different ways, but mostly they like to play up-tempo. It's either a dunk, a layup, or a three. And they can hurt you. And I think the biggest thing about them, the best thing about them is how balanced they are offense to defense in terms of national rankings. They are way up there in both categories.
Yeah, and in the Ken Palm right now, we were talking about Kentucky. They are, SLU is 25th in the Ken Palm. They are ahead of Kentucky. They are ahead of Indiana. They are ahead of North Carolina and Auburn. So right now they're getting their due respect, and I hope that continues for the rest of the season. But as far as Josh Schertz goes, and I am with you, I am concerned that at some point some other university is going to lure him away. Here's what we have to hope, Tom. So because it may not be a thing where SLU can match a dollar offer if he's given a new contract somewhere else. We can only hope that he has a similar mindset to Brock Spack, Illinois State football coach, who said, you know what, I just hate moving. We have to hope that Josh Schertz just, I don't want to move. I don't want to pack and move. Yeah. I can't go somewhere else. I'm just going to stay here at SLU.
Yeah, because then you just...
you don't want to get the boxes and the movers and the packing and the wrapping and the...
you could hear it in Signetti, too, when he was like, don't you want to... Or wouldn't you be interested? There's some other teams like,
find a new house.
My wife likes it here.
I got to sell this house.
It's great. No. He likes his life. Well,
next time I talk to Josh, I'm gonna convince him that he doesn't really like moving.
No, he doesn't.
You don't want to do that.
I really think he likes it here. He was raving about the crowd last night. He said that the crowd was willing them. He said the crowd sensed that we were going to go on a run before we went on a run. That they were preemptively cheering when they were down by 4, like, all right, boys, now's the time. It's a smart basketball crowd. Always has been. Well, that is the Gashouse Gang. We appreciate you all very much. What a great time it has been this week. We have much more to come. Bernie will be with Chris Ranji tomorrow.
That's right, baby.
Thanks for joining us on KMOX.
Case. Reason number